New Year, everyone. Welcome back to the DawnCast. 2024. Woo!
One step up from 23.
I could have been more Ric Flair about that. Woo! Like, still probably better than that actor that supposedly plays him in the Iron Claw movie. I need to find out what's going on with that, but I haven't looked it up. I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, welcome to the DawnCast, episode 28, everybody. The first episode of 2024. Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Things off with a banger.
And if you're new, welcome. Thanks for joining us starting this year. We're going to be discussing... It is a big year, and we think the best way to start that off, or this year off, is a little roadmap of what we have to come for, like, the coming year.
What to
Ideas,
expect.
goals, what you guys could expect from us.
And it isn't set in stone, it can always change. Suggestions in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is set in stone. If you have an idea that sounds better, by all means.
I think probably the best way to start it would be a goal for the year. And
The
then we
first
talk about how
goal...
we achieve that.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, I think anybody's, like, first goal as a channel's growth. And, like, so I want to at least, by, I say, mid-year, I want to see maybe 500 subs. Finish out the year with maybe 1,000.
Let's get it done.
Which is definitely viable if you're, you know, putting out content the way we do on a regular, semi-regular basis.
I believe it's very achievable.
I mean, obviously, like, something, it's also a goal, maybe, like, a little bit more on the video production end, but I really think, like, just sub and, like, community count, and that's not just to get the sub numbers up, it is also to just, like, build a community, get more people, you know, involved with this little thing we got going here.
Build a family.
Build a family. I don't know, that sounds too much like some kind of corporate store thing. We're a family here, and it's like, you guys throw a pizza party every Christmas. It doesn't make us family. Like, relax, guys.
You're not expendable.
You're totally not expendable. Yeah, definitely, like, first just getting the that out of the way, because, like, the more growth, the more we can do with the channel in general, which, like, you know, so the more like sub and viewer growth, the more like the more it goes back into the channel. So then, like, we can do more with the channel, whether it's like for editing, getting games for, like, you know, more episodes, whether it's like streams, DawnCasts, whatever.
Works out for everyone.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that's a fair. It's not an outrageous goal, but it's definitely a target to go for.
I mean, I would say, and it's like, it's just hard to, like, say, like, anything maybe with, like, the content, like putting more content out or anything like that, because I feel like we put a fair amount of content out. Yeah, we're not at the level of some people where we're putting.
Dawncasts, you've got your Temtem episodes.
Yeah, we got the Temtem series that just started. We're working on reviews, you know. That's a little slower of a process. That is something we're going to be going more into this year. It's just, with the reviews, obviously, it's picking the right game, because I don't want to just necessarily do, like, as much as it is cool to do brand new releases, I think, because, like, especially with, like, everyone that does help with the DawnCast, I mean, it is me and you that do the hosting, but we have Derpel and Hawkblood who come in, and, you know, every other now and then, and we have people that help with the episodes, and I just think it's like the reviews can kind of cover that aspect of it, where, you know, we kind of do appeal to a broader thing, so it doesn't necessarily always have to be the next AAA release that has to be the review. We can go back and touch on some older games or things people might be interested in.
Well, it's like the old games that no people have played. I mean, this one's a bit of a random one, but Fallout 4, as popular as it is, there'll be people that haven't played it, and you could just do a Fallout 4, how is it in 2024?
No, yeah, there's a lot of games.
In 2024, there's games are completely different on launched than they are now. So I think it's a very fair point to bring up older games.
Older games like that, and then in the case of some games, like speaking of like Fallout's or like a Fallout 76, where like if you played it on launch,
yeah, that's a better example. The states of the two are
yeah, we're like
launched and now we're insanely different.
I definitely think that like with that you can do older games because you can even go back and touch like retro games in that aspect, and you know you can talk about, hey, how does like, I know it sounds crazy, but you could even talk about like how does something like Mario 3 hold up and compare to like Mario Wonder. Granted, they're going to be very different, but you get my point. It's a very broad like thing, and I don't know. I just think it's going to be a good thing to bring to the channel, and that in turn goes back into like more content to help like the follower count, like, you know, things like that, the sub counts, because the more you give people, the more they have to like watch, get invested in. And I just think like between you and I and like whoever we may have guests do a review now and then. I feel like guests may not be as heavy in the reviews, but I don't see the problem with that either. But I mean, just between you and I alone, there's like over 30 years of gaming like experience in games. We play some similar stuff on the end of like, you know, when I met you, it was like we both were big, heavy into GTA 5 and GTA Online. But like, as we've like, you know, been friends over the years, like stuff is also like, every year I would say we both buy the latest WWE, but then there's like, you buy like sports games that I don't necessarily play, or like racing and fighting games like Mortal Kombat. I don't really play that, but like you buy nothing, obviously not, I'm not saying like anything bad about Mortal Kombat. I just, you know, not really my thing anymore. But like, and then so you'll buy that, like say you, and then I'll buy stuff, you know, like the newest Dragon Ball game or something, so that it's cool because like we can, because even like something with like Xenoverse 2, you've played it, and it's something where you could give an input as someone who doesn't play or watch Dragon Ball. You can give a perspective of just how it is as a game, where like me, obviously my critiques are gonna they're gonna go off of like, well, how like good of a game is it, but also like how accurate, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna compare it to the show. So it is cool because we're gonna have a few different outlooks and perspectives on like things. And I think it's also just, we'll have like I'm not gonna say we're gonna have like the most fresh take, like we're gonna have more original takes than everybody, but I feel like we'll have some like different takes that maybe not everyone has, because I feel like there's a lot of reviewers and people you see that do like to do things very by the numbers, but I feel like me and you sometimes, like, I don't know, like everyone that does or like plays games, they do it different. Like me and you might like a game that other people might find to be terrible, or vice versa, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you said, the way we play, like I know Red Dead Online, we played that a very unique way. Same with GTA, to be honest. It's the reason we became friends, because the way you play GTA, or played GTA at the time, was very different to what I've seen before.
Yeah,
and
so
if we talk about that and bring in an audience of the way we play a certain game, like Red Dead or GTA for example, people might not even think about the game in that way.
Yeah, because you can show people like a perspective of how they may not, a way to like play the game that they may not have ever seen it, you know?
Yeah. Was there any targets in terms of viewers or likes for the year?
Likes is something I would definitely like to see go up too. I don't know, like that's just going to be a thing where we're just going to have to keep putting in and getting more consistent viewers, because I feel like likes tend to come, yeah, you get it from like casual new viewers, but it's usually your core audience that are more prone to give you likes. So I think one thing that would help with that, and I mean something is user retention, because like one thing is we get a lot of new viewership every like short and video, but returning viewers tends to be a spot where we struggle, because it's about split 50-50 right now, where like a lot of the time it's like half of, like, you know, every video it's like half the views come from people that actually are subbed and half are new people. So
yeah
And then shorts, it's like generally made up of all new. But shorts, I'm not gonna say because it's a little different because we get way more views on a short than we do like we had.
Yeah, it's a different
like
ball game.
yeah, because like we get 2K views on a short usually, and we only have like 300 subs, so the comparison there is like a little weird, you know. But yeah, no, and that again, and that's just something where it's gonna require, you know, more diverse content and just trying to like bring more people in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see a higher a higher like and comment ratio just on the like higher engagements in those aspects, just so I know like so I mean you kind of know feedback wise what people want or are looking for in the like the channel, whether it be the podcast review, the like right now I'm doing Temtem, but if you know you and I decide to, you know, do another like let's play type series, it's, you know, anything like that.
Yeah, okay. So, is there any games we're thinking of getting for reviews anytime soon?
Well, I was thinking the next game, I mean, I kind of talked to you behind the scenes about this. I was kind of looking at possibly doing my next one is Red Dead 2.
Yeah. Like another thing we mentioned is splitting the Red Dead story mode. I guess it's a very different to the online. I don't. Are they even? Is it set before or after the story mode? The online.
The online's set before. It's like how GTA Online is.
Alright, sweet. But yeah, I mean, that's another game we can both get inputs on. Both love the game, but I'm sure we'll give a very different perspective on the story mode.
Well, yeah, because I feel like everyone played that game very differently with the, like, everyone's approach to the story in that game was very different.
Yeah. Will reviews be, like, spoiler-free or...?
I think that depends on the age of the game.
Yeah. That's a valid point. I mean,
like, because if it's a newer game, I don't obviously want to like be spoiling it for like, but I think obviously to like depending on the game, like or the review, there will be like a disclaimer. Obviously, God, I am bad at this game.
Sure.
Wow.
Obviously, it's just good to take note of these things now.
No, yeah, it is good to like let people know what to look forward to, and it's well obviously let you know if there's going to be major, minor spoilers, because again, I don't want to put anything out there and ruin anything for anybody. Like,
Yeah. I think it's a great idea getting reviews involved for older titles, because I never see them around anymore unless I'm planning on buying a game and then that review ends up being like 4 years old anyway.
well, and I know for myself, like, there's a lot of games that like I probably would have never gone and tried if I didn't watch some of the like retro review channels and stuff that I watch. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of classics, like especially like I grew up with like Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1, and there was a lot of games back then where like, you know, like you knew what like the popular titles were, like Resident Evil, but like I'm saying, like there's a lot of PS1 games that I didn't know existed as a kid, and like going back and watching those, it's like, man, that's a game I didn't know like existed. I could go back and like try that out now, or same with, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's nice to open that door to people too, because like especially like with our shorts, it tends to be kind of a lot of Fortnite, so we do get some of the more some of our viewership is younger, and I feel like a lot of those people wouldn't know what some of those older games are like I'm sure they all no, yeah, exactly, because if I throw out, you know, both Red Dead Redemption reviews, they're gonna still probably be familiar with those, But if I do a Red Dead Revolver review, it's going to be a whole other thing for them because a lot of people don't even know, about that game. Or
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nice way to like also give back to people who are like maybe younger and or like even the older viewers, because it's a way for them to. I know I do it too, where I get to kind of take a little trip back down like memory lane
like
with
almost
that.
like a nostalgic feeling, like.
Yeah,
one of my favourite
what I mean?
games of all time, Knights of the Old Republic, and Fable 2 included. I believe one of the main reasons they are my favourite games is that nostalgic feeling while playing them. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better than games today, it just has that
And
trip down memory lane feeling.
And then too, what you can sometimes do is it's also a way to like open people's eyes, because, and this is not to say, but there's some games where I remember them being like awesome as a kid. Like a good like example would be like Friday the 13th on NES. I remember like as a kid I thought that game was so cool. Why does this guy look like 90s Eddie Guerrero in this drawing? Like if you saw the guy on the stream, he should have looked like 90s Eddie Guerrero. He had like the mullet and the goatee. But like that's one of those games. And then I went back and watched a review, and they were talking about how like not good the game is, and you're sitting there like, no, that can't be right. You go back and play, and it's like, oh, the game is actually like bad, like. And so it's cool because it gives people sometimes a way to like relive like old memories, but it's also a way to like, you can also kind of like show people like, hey, remember this thing that like we all thought was so cool as a kid? It's really not that, like. Yeah.
Even like things like you could say early games of Doom, like that set foundation for FPS shooters today. You can do it with other games, just lay down play a game, showcase what was the next big thing back then that we actually followed through and became the groundworks for most games today.
No, yeah, because that too is you can also give people the history of like, because not every old game is obviously going to be retro like garbage, but that too is you can show people like, hey, look, this is like Doom and like Quake and stuff. That was like this like
this led on to this.
It led on to stuff today, and like if you were alive during that era, like my older brother, I remember my older brother and his friends, they got so hyped for like Quake and Doom the same way like kids now get for Call of Duty, and it's just crazy to think that like at one point was somebody's Call of Duty, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. What the hell am I supposed to do on this game? It's gonna be one of those games where I just get stuck in a room and I get mad and never want to play it again. Because it's not telling me what I need to do, and there's no obvious progression. Do I have to fight this?
Personally, I'm quite excited for the idea of our reviews or whatever.
Oh, the reviews coming to the channel, yeah, I'm very excited. Like, I did one review so far on my own, and that was only because I got invited to that closed beta, so I took advantage of the whole situation because I thought it was a good way to like test the waters, plus it was a good way for me to warn people not to play that terrible game. But but it's a yeah, no, I had fun with it, and I think especially having like me and you doing the co-op reviews, and then leaning into that, that's something I also wanted to say is like with the review guests, that's another thing I'd like to see more of, or like I want to do more of, is like, obviously I like to have some of the other guests we've had return, but I like to see more new guests this coming like year too.
Yeah, it's another thing you can relate to the reviews. I mean, you
freshly
playing a game, and then you can compare it to someone like, I don't know who to use as an example specifically, but compare it to their opinion. It's like their type of game. You can
just
compare
even
it to
on the
fresh.
podcast, having like more guests, because it'll be nice, like just depending on what because it also gives us more options for topics, like because if we're bringing on a guest who's more oriented in one game or like subject, we can kind of talk for that. I'm slowly getting angry at this game because I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. Um, scratch that thing about me getting mad at the game. But yeah, like, because obviously with more guests, you open up the door for more topics, which opens up the door for more, like, people to either find things, like people in the audience to find more things, or people from outside the audience to find us, because, you know, depending on what the subject is, the guest, you know, it's a cool way, and that's why I'm like hoping to see more, you know, people come on and be guests, or like come on and talk with us. And then I also want to see, you know, our past people too come back, because we've had, you know, with the few people we did have guests on there, like Durple and Hawk, they were good. You know, it was fun to have them on. So,
I mean, most of them are part of our like nearly day-to-day gaming experience. Yeah, crew. Play games with them most days. Won't be any different having them on the podcast. I mean, we're not playing a character when we're on the podcast anyway. It's just
no, exactly. So it's nice to have them, because like, even though they are like people in the group, I mean, their input is still just as valid, and like it's cool that I think, like, when you are doing something and starting out, like, what better people to have on and like be quote unquote like your guests than your friends.
Yeah,
because they're the people who can definitely help you get started and like
around from the start.
Yeah, exactly. And like, at least, you know, like, there are people who are they'll like actually show up, kind of take it serious, you know, stuff like that. Oh,
that's exactly what you want.
Stay there.
But yeah, I've already kind of reached out to a couple people, like, see if we can get a couple of new, just new guests this season, because that's like, all that goes back into the like I said, the growth, the viewer retention, stuff like that. It gives people more to digest when it comes to the content.